Comments, Maharaj.
Hmm? Namaste. We'll start with our prayer. Sri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karvavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om. Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityurma Amritam Gamaya Aviravirmayedhi. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om. Akhandam Satchidanandam Avang Manasagocharam Atmanam Akhiladharam Ashraya Bhishta Siddhai. May we be protected, may we be nourished, may we strive with energy and vigor. May our study be enlightening and not give rise to hostility. Om peace, peace, peace. Lead us to truth and not to untruth. Lead us to enlightenment and not ignorance. Lead us to immortality and not death. Let the self-manifest Atman grow in me. Om peace, peace, peace. I take refuge in the self, the indivisible, the existence, consciousness, bliss, absolute, beyond the reach of words and thought, and the substratum of all, for the attainment of my cherished desire. So, welcome back, meeting after the break, winter break, and we know it is difficult, but still we have to continue our study. Study about the truth, about that which exists. But what happens when we interact, we see this world, we identify that there is world and there is this person, and there must be a creator of this world and this person. Because whatever we see, we have idea that if there is a table, there should be a carpenter who has made this. So how to reach that which is truth? Truth is, as we have understood, truth is hidden here. It is not that he sits somewhere else. He is very much within this creation. So how to find this? So this is the challenge. Now Vedantasara gives a concise manual to find this truth. So the same neha nanasti kinchana. Here there are not many. It is one and the akhandam advaitam. Indivisible self. Indivisible self. Now we see so many divisions. So this is the challenge. Therefore, first in this book, the topic is, who is the competent adhikari? What are the procedure? We need to know the procedure. So, what is the content of this book? There are 4: adhikari, vishaya, prayojan, and sambandh. Adhikari, who is the competent student who can study this? What is the subject matter that we are going to talk about? And what is the adhikari, vishaya? Adhikari, vishaya, sambandh, and prayojan. What is the purpose? What is the sambandh with this text, with what we want to derive at? What is the relationship? And why we should study? So these are the 4 aspects we have already discussed. And there, adhikari means who has performed his duties, whatever is ordained, and whatever is to be done occasionally, and naimittika, prashchitta, upasana karma, all these karma we have studied. And then there should be some qualification. What's the qualification of a student? That it should be vivek, vairagyavan, and samadhamadi shat sampatti, and mumukshutva. So all these we have studied in detail, so I'm touching. And what are the samadhamadi shat sampatti? What is vivek, vairagya in short? Vivek means separation, segregation. To find the truth which is mingled in truth and untruth. Sri Ramakrishna said, like it is finding the sugar mixed up with salt or sand. So it is easier. But to find sugar in salt, it's challenging. So this one is like that. So how to segregate, that is a challenge. And then vivek, vairagya. Vairagya means whatever is perceived as not helpful, one should withdraw from that totally. So shamadama uparati, in a complete withdrawal from sense objects. Uparati, titiksha, and forbearance, forbearing all kinds of difficulties. Sahanam sarva dukkhanam apratikar purvakam. This also we have gone in details. Why we should study? Because we suffer. We suffer. And Bhagavan Buddha said, there is dukkha. So to come out from that dukkha, we must find out what is beyond dukkha. So, to find that, we need to find truth. We need to find that substratum which is beyond all suffering. And those who know it, tarati shokam atmavit, knower of self, crosses over all difficulties, all sorrow. Why? Because Brahmavit Brahmaiva bhavati. Knower of Brahman becomes Brahman. Say Sri Ramakrishna example. Sri Ramakrishna is, when he was in normal state, he would talk about, but then a state would come where he is totally absorbed within himself. So this is the purpose why we should study. And then the necessity of a guru, because even for worldly things we need a guide. Say if you are to invest, you don't know, or generally people don't know. So they get a guide. Similarly, this is very highly uh, difficult, very subtle, very, very incomprehensible. So we need a guide here. So these are the things that we have studied already. After this, we have um, started superimposition. Now, Vedanta says actually it is one, but we see many. This is our normal experience. How it is possible? So, the stock example is the snake, the rope appears as snake. And not only that, even when we drive, we see water on the road on which we are driving. But we know it is not water. There is no water. Similarly, we experience this world. But in this world, that truth is hidden. That we have to find, going behind the superstition or superimposition, not superstition, superimposition. So this chapter is superimposition, how same Brahman, which is Nitya, Shuddha, Buddha, Mukta Svabhava, who is eternal, pure, and free, Nitya, Shuddha, Buddha, and intelligent, that appears as dumb or with division. So example is taken first. It is like Adhyaropa. Adhyaropa means first we have to see Adhyaropa, that means superimposition. Then after that we have to remove that superimposition. Then we can find the truth. It is like this. A child is afraid. Why? There is a tiger. But then adult comes. He says he is not a tiger. He is covering himself with a tiger skin. Maharaj Brahmanandaji, Swami Brahmanandaji, was in Bagh Bazar. Bagh Bazar means, say, Balram Poshe's house. So he used to play with children. So there was a tiger skin. So he would cover himself. And a child is afraid, but he would say, I know you are Maharaj. Though you look like tiger, but I know you are Maharaj. So the purpose of this study is to develop an eye, a perspective by which we can see Maharaj. That means the reality, the truth. In appearance. Appearance here like a tiger appearance. So we'll start with this. So Adhyaropa, first we have to see, because we see multiplicity. Nobody can deny this. But there is something, that unity is there. Say, for example, I give example like where we are sitting on chairs. And where is that chair? On the ground. Where is that ground? On the earth. Where is that earth? In the universe. So we have to find the unity. We are individuals, but we are human beings. So we were in that category, we are one. And then even we are one with the trees, because they are living, we are also living. Similarly, we can find unity with dust that exists, I also exist. So we need to find the common highest point, highest common point. So here comes the definitions, because now we have already covered it, but because we are meeting after a long time, so these should be clear. Adhyaropa is the superimposition of the unreal on the real. So, Vedanta says there is only one reality. Then how can we see this multiplicity? So this is because of error of judgment. We are to develop an eye to see correctly. Now, example, Adhyaropa is the superimposition of the unreal on the real, like the false perception of a snake in a rope, which is not a snake. Not only that, we go to movie and something is happening, we laugh sometimes. Sometimes we weep. Sometimes, when hero is fighting with villain, we also fight. So we are influenced by that. It is adhyaropa. Now, vastu, what is vastu? Satchidanandam advayam brahma. What is vastu? Reality is Brahman, which is without a second and is existence, consciousness and bliss. So there is no two. Neha, nanasti, kinchana. Here there are not many. So, what is that one? That is existence, consciousness and bliss. Sat, Chit, Ananda. And whatever other than this is avastu. Avastu means not real. It may appear. If a thief comes and says, I tell you truth, that I have not stolen anything. So even if he says that he has not stolen, but we know he has stolen. So he appears what is by his statement that he is telling the truth, but that has no bearing as existence. Rather, his falsity also depends on truth. He takes the truth as pretext. I am telling you the truth that I have not stolen, like this. So he takes even truth as the basis of his falsity. Truth alone is existing, and untruth cannot exist. It may appear. Nasato vidyate bhava. Asat never exists. Whatever is not there never exists. Nasato vidyate bhava. Na bhava vidyate sata. And sat never ceases to exist. How we know? Because the knower knows that they have seen through. We see shadow, but actually there is less light. We see light, we see sun. So what is that? Actually, it is only 8 minutes past, whatever the image we see. So we presume that we are seeing the sun of that time, but actually it is 8 minutes old. So what is that? It may appear something, but truth is hidden behind. So Satchidanandam Advayam, that supreme, the individual, Sat Chit Ananda. The reality is Brahman, which is without a second and is existence, consciousness and bliss. Unreality is nescience and all other material objects. Now, we have gone through this also. Now, why it is seen? It is because of our ignorance. Because of our ignorance. Ajnanam tu sadasadbhyam anirvachaniyam trigunatmikam jnana virodhi bhavarupam yat kinchit. So, what is, the question will come, what is ajnanam? we see because of ignorance, we see multiplicity. We see multiplicity because of ignorance. Now, what is this ajnana? If you explore, you can go on, but in reality, the truth cannot be found in ajnana. But we know, it's like we are devotees of Ramakrishna, Sri Ramakrishna. So he said, it is Shakti. And not only him, even Sri Krishna also says that it is my holding my Shakti, I create this world. So this Shakti is within the power, within the within that Satchidananda. It has no separate existence of its own. So ajnanam to sadad, neither it is sat nor asat, because we experience sadasadhyam anirvachaniyam. So we experience, but when we explore, there is no such thing as ignorance. See here, it is technical, and trigunatmakam. Now trigunatmakam, sattva, rajas and tama. So these are three phases. So it is like this, everything full of this. Whatever we see, it is trigunatmakam. What is that? Say automobile, what happens? You start, and then there is some energy that burns, and the piston moves. So it was in inert state. Then it starts, and then it moves. So what is there? It goes up and down. So here also we see on the movie screen or say computer screen, what we see? Some points, they flicker, and that gives us motion of movement. Similarly, even that up and down movement of piston, that gives the motion. So even within us, we also find that there, say mind sometimes is very inert. It wants to sleep. Sometimes very active, and sometimes it's serene. So all these are trigunatmakam, jnana virodhi, but it disappears when you bring knowledge. When you bring, say you are not mindful and you are walking, and all of a sudden you jump. Why? No, there is a snake. But you bring a light, and then you say, oh, it is not a snake, it is a rope. So when you bring knowledge, then it disappears. Jnana virodhi. Bhavarupam. Bhavarupam, there is something. Because of that, it appears as real. And how we know that? Because we experience. Aham agya. I am ignorant about it. So what is this? It is divine power. Devatma Shakti Sogunair Nigudham. It says the power belonging to God Himself, hidden in its own qualities. The example is like a magician. He has some power, and he uses that power to elude or to make others say like fool. Because he shows something which never, that actually not happening. It's because of his trick he can make people like that. So there is a shloka. This we have all gone through, but still, because after this, how this creation has happened. So we are to understand that. Because of that, we need to have this a quick look at this. Seyam bhranti niralamba sarven nyaya virodhini sahati na vicharam satamo yat divakaram. So this illusion is without support. Now, here it is illusion. That's also a view. But we consider it's a power of God. It's not mechanical illusion. It's power of God who is creating, preserving, and destroying. Sri Ramakrishna gave example. Like water, when it is placid, it is water. When it is moving, it is water. So one is savishesha, that means with particular qualities, and one is avishesha, that means without any qualities. So this is one example. Second example Sri Ramakrishna gave, a snake. When it moves, it is a snake. When it is not moving, it is a snake. So when he is creating, preserving, and destroying this whole universe, it is same entity, same truth, same reality. When he is not doing, it is the same. So this illusion, here we differ a little. We see many, but we see many because of the same reality is sporting. We know sports, that in a school children are there, then they divide themselves, then they have a sport, they get fun, and then again they study. So all these are only for a sport. This illusion is without support and contradictory to all reasoning. It cannot bear any reasoning, just as darkness cannot stand the sun. Therefore, like the fanciful imagination of the sun by one who is blind by day, the sages called ignorance indescribable, as it is neither real nor unreal, nor real unreal. That means neither mixture. So it is not real, because when we bring knowledge, then it disappears. Why not unreal then? No, because we experience. Is it a mixture of both? That's also not true, because day and night cannot stay together. So when we are ignorant, we are ignorant. And when knowledge dawns unto us, then this disappears. How? When you are dreaming, you are sleeping, you are dreaming. Dream is real. You wake up, you don't dream after waking up, and you know that it is all unreal. But while dreaming, maybe a tiger was chasing you and you are running. That was real for you. But with awakening, that unreality disappears totally. So, while experiencing, we are ignorant. But when knowledge comes, then that ignorance goes away. Yeah. Now, idam ajnanam, that is Naishkarma Siddhi. Now, what is this? Why we see many? Why we see one? Though you are saying ajnana means ignorance, is one. So, now that individual and collective aspects, that is 35th. Idam ajnanam samashti vyashti abhiprayena ekam anekamiti cha vyavahrikati. That means this ignorance is said to be one or many according to the mode of observing it, either collectively or individually. Now, examples are given. In a forest, there are many trees. So if you take trees individually, then it is many, many trees. But if you take forest, it is one. Similarly, uh, water. If you take droplets or each drop separately, then many. But if you take together, it is one. Jalashay. Similarly, when it is reflected space, say if you see a drop of water, in that the sky is reflected, and in a lake, sky is reflected. So the reflection in droplets are many, but in lake it is one. This also we have done, but yeah, this from here. As for instance, trees considered as an aggregate are denoted as one. The forest or water is collectively named as the reservoir. So also ignorance, existing in jivas, being diversely manifested, is collectively represented as one, as in such scriptural passages as there is one unborn. So, ajam ekam shuklam. So there is a passage, because all whatever is being said, it is based on Vedas. So a statement of Upanishads, ajam ekam, that's in Shvetashvatara Upanishad. So as, for instance, trees considered as an aggregate are denoted as one. Trees considered as an aggregate, okay, namely the forest. So when it is taken together, it is a forest. So collective. Or water is collectively named as the reservoir. So also ignorance existing in jivas, so individual person being diversely manifested, is collectively represented as one, like humanity. So it is one, but individual people are separate. So why it is required? To show that unity and multiplicity are two aspects of the same entity, is collectively represented as one, as in such scriptural passages as there is one unborn, ajam ekam, so unborn. And there is another passage anyway that so ajam ekam, that one. Now we go to the next, yam shamashti utkristu upaditaya. Now how to show that it is the modification of same manifesting as many. See, we find our mind. Mind is very pure. And we find our body. Body is gross. So, how it is related? How these are manifestation of same entity? So now, that is the way how to see it. Iyam shamashti utkristupaditaya vishuddha sattva pradhana. So, one is sattva, rajas and tamas. Now there is also gradation. Vishuddha means purest of pure. So that is Vishuddha Sattva Pradhan. And second is um, not Utkrishta, that means uh, the Rajas. And third is Tamas. So aggregate of ignorance on account of its appearing associated with perfection, that means pure intelligence of Brahman, has a preponderance of pure sattva. So here the concept of God, concept of jiva, concept of uh, this multiplicity, all will come. So here um, now what will be the common? Etat upahita chaitanya. That means consciousness associated with this. See, like I gave example of water drop. In that water drop, the sky is reflected. And in a lake, the same sky is reflected. So reflection of reality, that gives existence, as it were. See, a person, when he is showing magic, so his consciousness, his awareness, his knowledge is manifesting through that magic. So what we are to find out? We are to find that reality reflecting in so many things, so many forms. एतत् उपहितं चैतन्यम सर्वज्ञत्व सर्वेश्वरत्व सर्वनियंत्रित्व त्वादि गुणकम अव्यक्तम अंतर्यामी जगत कारणम ईश्वरम इति च व्यपदिश्यते. Now who is God? When the same consciousness, say like creator, preserver, say snake, same snake, when it is creating, preserving and destroying, that means in action. But it is the same consciousness who is manifesting in that form. The snake consciousness, or say here God. Etat upahitam chaitanya. So this will be the main basis on which all the different ingredients or different parts will be associated. So we have to find that consciousness who is being associated with creation. So this is the way. Etat upahitam chaitanyam sarvajñatva sarveshwaratva sarvaniyantritva. That means God knows everything. Say it is like this. You have conceived a story. So you know the in and out of that story. And you tell people, when you are telling a child, he may not know what is the starting point, what is the end point, what is the narrative, but you know. So the Creator knows this creation right from A to Z. So that's why sarvajñatva. Sarvajñatva means all knowing. So etad upahitam chaitanyam. So chaitanya is this upahita chaitanya. Upahita chaitanya means that consciousness which is associated with this. So importance is to given to the chaitanya, consciousness. See, I am talking. Talking is possible because I am conscious. You can see this mic. How can you see this? Because light is associated with this. If there is no light, you could not see this. Even we could not see each other. So light is the most essential thing. So light here means light of our consciousness. So this is upahita. On that everything is superimposed. Like that rope. Snake is superimposed on that rope. The movement of a snake is superimposed on a snake. The movement of water is superimposed on water. So consciousness is the baseline, or consciousness is the substratum. On that all the creation is happening. So we have to find out that consciousness, and there should be an explanation how this is seen as many. So when consciousness is there and then we see many, this manyness has no existence of its own. It depends, totally depends on the consciousness. See, the whole dream of yours depends on you. If you say, I dreamt last night, but I was not there, people will laugh at you. How can you dream without yourself? So this whole world is happening on you. You are conscious. That is why you see all these things. So your Chaitanya is animating all this, as it were. So everything, so you are Sarvagnya, all-knowing. So etad upahitam Chaitanya, consciousness associated with this is endowed with such qualities as omniscience, because you know your dream right from the beginning to end. So it is omniscience, universal lordship. Though you cannot have control over your dream, but you can have control over your story. You know that happened, that that story, you know, that so the hero died, but then public were not satisfied. They said, no. So the writer had to revive him. The detective, what's that detective? That Sherlock Holmes. So while fighting with the villain, he fell down from a cliff, and in that year he died. But people were upset. So they appealed to the author, Conan Doyle. So then he had to write, okay, no, he was hanging on a tree. So that means you have total control. The consciousness on which this is happening. So all omniscience, universal lordship, all controlling power, etc. And is designated as the undifferentiated, the inner guide, the cause of the world, and Ishvara, on account of its being the illuminator of the aggregate of ignorance. See, light is lighting everything. So it illumines everything. This consciousness also illumines everything. Etad upahitam Chaitanya. So this consciousness, when it comes, or on which all the creation is happening, say like if you are painting, there must be a canvas. Without canvas you cannot paint. So this consciousness is like the canvas on which all the creation is possible. So etad upaitam chaitanya, so consciousness, sarvajnatva sarveshwaratva. So who is God? God is endowed with all knowing, all powerful, universal lordship, all controlling power. Because he is the master of his creation. He is master of his story. He can write the way he likes. So God is such. Now, you can ask a question that this ignorance has come in proximity. What is this ignorance? So, ignorance is, it is said that anadi, but shanta. Anadi means it has no beginning, but it ends in a time. Like if I ask you, when do you know Swahili? You will say no. When it started Swahili, when your ignorance started, it has no beginning. But as soon as you start knowing, then that ends, that ignorance ends. So this is not something which is unusual. All are ignorances like this. It has no beginning, but it ends with knowledge. So sarvajnatva, sarveshwaratva, sarvaniyantritva. He controls everything. Adi guna karma abhyakta abhyaktam antaryami. Antaryami means he controls from within. Jagat karanam Ishwaram. So first he is defining who is Ishvara. So Ishvara is the consciousness who has taken all this garment as it were. But he is pure, purest of pure. That is why everything is known to him. He has all control. But we are not like that. We are jivas. Though this is also similar. We are also superimposed on the same consciousness. But here, because of rajas and tamas, and grosser rajas and tamas, we have no power. We are not all knowing. So this is the difference. So jagat karanam ishwaram iti cha vyapadishyate sakala ajnana avabhasagatvat. So what it does, it knows all ajnana. Ajnana, he covers, as it were, like Maharaj. He covers himself with the tiger skin. So he knows that he is covering with tiger skin. So sakala ajnana avabhasagatvat. So yah sarvajna sarvavit mundaka upanishad iti sruti. So he who is all knowing means in general, sarvajna, and sarvavit means in particular. He knows in general. So like this, people die. So he knows in general. But a particular, he knows particular also. That means, say, suppose he knows, this was a conversation with our two Swamis, Swami Gambhiranandji and another Swami. Is it possible to know, God knows this, how this vehicle works? Say Sri Ramakrishna comes and says, okay, you start this, and it should start. So, Apparently, you will say that he does not know, but it is not that. As soon as he concentrates, he knows that. So, he is Sarvagya and Sarvavit, all in particular and in general. So, यह सर्वज्ञ सर्ववित यस्यैव महिमा भुवि दिव्ये ब्रह्मपुरे ह्येष व्योमात्मा प्रतिष्ठित. So, Manamaya Prana Sharira Neta. So, this is the definition of even what we say Ishvara, Lord. Now, God, when we say God, we have all mixed up. But in Sanskrit, we have different name for different things. Like this. When we say Brahman, Brahman means without any touch of ignorance, pure. That means there is no ignorance at all. The example as Sri Ramakrishna gave, the placid water and not moving snake. So that is and what is Ishvara? Ishvara means Ajnana Upahita Chaitanya. That means when same consciousness come in contact with ignorance, that is called Ishvara. You know, it is like before creation, before magic, the person who conceives the magic, that means he has some connection with ignorance. But Brahman is Nirguna Nirakar. There is no qualities, no form, Nirguna Nirakar. So that is the concept, Brahman. And Ishvara, it is unlike God. Whatever concept that sometimes we say, when we say God, God means that Brahman and also Ishvara. So we go forward. Any question up to this? Yes.
Returning back to your discussion about the same sky is reflected in multiple droplets of water as is reflected in the gigantic lake. Unity and diversity, right? Although it has the same overarching
Space.
space or cause, you know, the sun is shining.
Correct.
Is there any preference if you're thinking about spiritual attainment? Does it matter whether you're a little drop of water with this reflecting the sky versus this gigantic receptacle reflecting the sky?
No, same sky, same consciousness.
Same consciousness.
Same consciousness is reflected, or on the same consciousness, this ajnana, individual identity, is residing. In same consciousness, your identity also residing. And collectively, in all being, the same consciousness, overarching consciousness, all individual identities are existing. It does not exist, it's seemingly existing.
So I'm the drop of water, and the collective, all people together
Correct.
are the lake.
Not only all people, even all beings. All beings. Ishwarasya yam shamashtihi akhila karanatvat karana shariram ananda prachuratvat koshavat achadakatvat cha anandamaya koshaha sarva uparamatvat sushuptihi atayeva sthula shukshma prapancha layasthanam iti cha uchyate. Now, you know, all the creation crumbles at one time. It is called dissolution. And again, next day, next means next srishti, next creation, again it evolves. What is the example? Every day this happens to us. Whatever you see now, as you go to sleep, gradually you will enter in a state when all whatever you see, feel, and touch, taste, everything crumbles and you go to your own state. Though there is ignorance. Why? Because next day you tell that I slept very soundly. I did not know anything. So sukham aham aswapsam na kinchit avedisham. So this ignorance lingers. But the bliss part is experienced. So Ishwarasya aham, Ishwarasya yam, shamashtihi, akhila karanatvat. Because he had taken all together. That's why God, in God, all reflections are taken. All individual trees are taken. All droplets are taken. It's like lake. You see, this is to be meditated on. Only book cannot convince a person. One may find faults with this. But examples are examples. By this is a means. This means can help us to find that truth. This is also happening in ignorance. Even Veda says, Yatra Vedaha Avedaha Bhavanti. When you arrive to the destination, say when I arrived Portland, all my knowledge, bookish knowledge, gone. Because arriving at the destination is more important or most important. So this may seem bit, say, argumentative or abstract, but through meditation to find that consciousness, that means what is that on which everything is floating, everything is being superimposed. What is that truth? Not what is being superimposed. You cannot count your dreams. You cannot find the truth in dreams. But who is there, who is dreaming, that can be found. So we are not interested in dreams. Shankaracharya says that we are not interested in creation. We are interested in Brahman, that means on which creation seemingly happens. So this is important. Ishwarasyaham samashti akhila karanatvat karana shariram ananda prachuratvat koshavat achhadakatvat cha anandamaya kosha sarvoparamatvat sushupti eva sthula shukshma prapancha laya sthanam iti cha uchyate. So, who is God? God where samashti ajnana is conceived. So ajnana, why we are saying ajnana? We can say all the creation is conceived. So all the story or all the magic, here it is being said, it is ajnana, not knowing correctly. That is why it is being said this. So samashtihi akhila karanatvat, because he is the cause of all stories, all magic. He is the only person who is sleeping. And all the dreams are in him. Therefore, he is the cause of all dreams. If he is not there, he cannot dream. Like you, if you are not there, you cannot have dream. So because he is collective, Samashtihi Akhila Karanatvat, Karana Shariram, Ananda Prachurattat. How no? Say Ananda. Say when you are in deep sleep, you are full of joy. Joy is like elation, not elation. When all worries are gone, you are in your own state. Similarly, here Ananda Prachuratvat Koshavat Achadakatvat Cha Anandamaya Koshaha Sarva Paramata Tvat. Because all merges there. Shushupti eva Sula Shukshma Prapancha Layasthanam iti cha uchyate. I will translate. The aggregate of ignorance associated with Ishvara. So like just imagine that space, in that space, all the individual shadow of the tree is falling. Aggregate of ignorance associated with Ishvara is known as the causal body, the Karana Sharira. So, Karana Sharira. See, we have explained it many times. Whatever is can be touched or tasted or heard or smelt or tasted, these are gross. But behind that, the principle on which it works is the cause. Cause means, subtle. Subtle. Because it cannot be seen, but we can infer. And behind that is the causal. So here it is causal. So, this aggregate of ignorance associated with Ishvara, so aggregate of ignorance with Ishvara is known as the causal body on account of its being the cause of all. So Karana Sharira. And as the Anandamaya Kosha, the blissful sheath. So what is there? We have, this is Annamaya Kosha. Whatever we can touch, or when we eat food, that becomes this body. So it is Annamaya Kosha, the covering that is due to the food. And behind that is like all the movements happening. That means Pranamaya Kosha. See, we go, come, we speak. All these activities are possible because of another covering, what is called Pranamaya Kosha. But behind that, say I'm thinking, okay, lift your hand to make a point. So lifting. So all the thoughts, that is Manomaya Kosha, in mind. Behind that is Vijnanamaya Kosha. That means the all knowledge. Say, I should modulate my voice like this, I should find right word for this. So all these are instructed by Vijnanamaya Kosha, by which we know the knowledge is predominant there. But behind that is called Anandamaya Kosha, where the joy flourishes. Prachuratvat. Prachur means in plenty. Aggregate of ignorance associated with Ishvara is known as the causal body on account of its being the cause of all. Because the whole story is on him. Therefore, he is the cause of all. He has written the story. And as the Anandamaya Kosha, the blissful sheath, on account of its being full of bliss and covering like a sheath. So full of bliss, but still it is covering. That is why we say we don't know. I did not know. I slept very peacefully, very nicely, with joy, with bliss, but I did not know. Sukham aham aswapsam na kinchit avedisham. I slept so very well that I did not know anything. You see, like these things cannot be explained citing other examples. So we may give the same example time and again, but we have to concentrate there to understand what is being conveyed. So Anandamaya Kosha, the blissful sheath, on account of its being full of bliss and covering like a sheath, it is further known as the cosmic sleep. So, see, as we have individual sleep, God also has a cosmic sleep. Like now it is evolving, but a time will come, everything will crush. The scientists will say matter, antimatter will come um, uh, to have a crash, and then everything goes to its cause, like Big Bang and anti-Big Bang or whatever. So anyway, so similarly, as we dream, we can extend our experience to God. Like similarly, he also is dreaming his own dream, and then one day the dissolution will happen. Full of bliss and covering like sheath, it is further known as the cosmic sleep, as into it everything is dissolved, and for this reason it is designated as the state of dissolution of the gross and the subtle phenomena. So it is happening because of Prakriti or Agyan or Maya, time. And these are now signs and symptoms of God. Who is God? Who is having the supreme cause, causal sharir, karan shariram, and it has ananda prachur, that means bliss, overflowing bliss, but it is covering anandmaya kosha, then like shushupti. So God is that consciousness who has taken over him willingly all the creation. So he is the creator. So, but he is a controller, inner controller, Maya Dhish, who is the controller of Maya. We are individual, we are Maya Dhin, under the spell of Maya. We are the characters of God's story. So this is Sthula Shakshma Iti Uchyate. How this happens? If you go to question this, the Advaitin will say it never happens. But because we want to understand, I see here it is many. So this is the explanation. But from ultimate standpoint, they will say it never happens. So when you wake up from your dream and you forget, and you did give no value to your dream, people may say, okay, what is the result of your dream? But that is speculation. The waking person, or say like, don't take dream. When you are driving and you see water, and you drive through that water, but actually there is no water. So whatever appeared as water, actually there is no water. So why to worry? What never happened? So Advaitin will say it never happened. But we are devotees. So say, okay, And this happens because of God wants to sport with us. Fine. So we get prasad. We also enjoy his company. Because, it's very high-fi to understand that it never happened. So it is to have a little fun. So we are devotees. Sometimes why? If we are only devotees, there is a chance of being fanatic. So this nullifies that possibilities. Okay, we see our prayer. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tatsat. Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu. David, I'm sorry I forgot, because I thought let me recapitulate. Yeah, he sent me a reading. I thought also okay, we will have a reading, but then later I remembered. Any question? Any? Okay.
Pranams, Maharaj.
See, to conceive that I am Brahman, it's not that easy. That's why.
No, it's Swami. Emma.